Why is it important to close the loopholes that undercut wages and conditions? What has been the response from those who oppose closing the loopholes?
Order. I give the call to the Minister for Workplace Relations, the Minister for Employment and the Minister for the Arts.
Thanks very much, Mr Speaker, and I thank the member for Cunningham for the question. Someone who's working for Australia to make sure that people are paid better. Senator Cash said when this debate started, she said, if it's all about closing a loophole, close the loophole. Show us first where the loophole is and then close the loophole. Well, that's exactly what the legislation that's been introduced to the parliament does. At the moment, there's a loophole where gig economy workers have no guaranteed minimum standards at all. None. There's a loophole at the moment where an enterprise agreement can be completely undercut through the use of labour hire. There's a loophole at the moment where if you steal from the employer, it's a criminal offence, as it should be, but if the employer steals from the worker, it's not a criminal offence. There's a loophole at the moment where you can be working, employed as a casual, but working identically to if you are a permanent worker, and you don't have the right to be able to switch from one to the other if that's what you want. They're the loopholes, and they're exactly what we're proposing to close in this legislation. But there's three things that you do when you don't want to deal with the issue at hand. Three things that you do. One, you blame consultation. Secondly, you try to talk about an issue that's not in fact in front of you. And thirdly, you talk about delay. Those opposite have taken delay to an entirely new level now. Yesterday we had a vote that this debate be delayed until the 16th of October. This morning we had a vote that the debate be delayed till February. Who knows by next week what the new end date will be? They'll be going 2030, 2050, delayed as long as they can, because as long as people are being underpaid, they are happy. Deliberate design feature of how they want to run an Australian economy. So I say to those, if you want to...
The Leader of the House will just pause momentarily. Members on my right will cease interjecting, and so I can hear from the member for Petrie on a point of order.
Thanks, Mr Speaker. Standing Order 90. The Prime Minister reflected on the Leader of the Opposition, and now the Leader of the House is reflecting on us as well. It shouldn't stand. He should withdraw. No one wants to see workers underpaid. No one.
Resume your seat. The Leader of... Order. Just when the House comes to order, Member Petrie is entitled to take a point of order. The Leader of the House was not reflecting on any individual member. If he was, you would be entitled to take that point of order. When the House comes to order, the Leader of the House has the call.
If those opposite want to vote against the loopholes, then I just say defend them. Defend why it's fair for wage theft to not be a crime, if that's your position. Defend why it's fair for an enterprise agreement to be meaningless because you can just use labour hire to undercut it.
Order.
Defend why it's fair for someone who's been rostering as though they're a permanent and doesn't get the right to convert. If you think it's fair to have these loopholes, then stand up and defend it. If you actually believe that some of the most vulnerable workers in Australia should have no minimum standards, that they should have to rely on tips to make ends meet. If that's the version of Australia that those opposite believe in, because I'll say that's the version of Australia they intend to vote for, then defend the argument. But don't go running off on an argument, can we delay it, can we complain about consultation? Workers' rights will be fundamentally different and loopholes will be closed or not. If your position is to keep the loopholes open, argue it, defend it.